What if I told you that one of the most intimate and common acts of the human being, far from being just a simple physical relief, hides a secret key capable of opening portals of power, wisdom and fulfillment that few could imagine? And what if you discovered that an energy wasted by many on a daily basis could, if consciously mastered, become the most powerful source of vitality, mental clarity, and personal magnetism? Since time immemorial, great esoteric and alchemical traditions have spoken of sexual energy as the most potent elixir of existence. It is not only the force that gives rise to biological life, but also the fuel that builds organs, renews the brain, and sustains the flow of vitality in every cell of the body. The Taoist sages knew this well. Whoever masters their seed masters their destiny. In modern society, masturbation has been trivialized, turned into an automatic and often compulsive act, devoid of consciousness and without purpose. But what almost no one tells you is that there exists a sacred, alchemical form of masturbation, not for mere release, but to cultivate, refine, and return this energy to the body and spirit, generating an expansion that affects all areas of life. This knowledge was carefully preserved by Taoist masters and practitioners of internal arts such as Mantak, Chia, and the guardians of sexual Qigong. They taught that the key lies not in repression or abandonment of sexual energy, but in learning to control, transform, and redirect it. For those who can master this vital current, an inexhaustible source of personal power becomes available. Physical rejuvenation, mental clarity, social magnetism, heightened intuition, and even material prosperity. What I will reveal next has been, for centuries, considered knowledge reserved only for initiates. We will explore how ancient cultures understood conscious masturbation. You will learn the fundamental principles of retention and return of sexual energy, and understand why proper handling of this energy can transform you into an all-powerful being, master of your body, your mind, and your reality. Get ready to dive into one of the most well-guarded secrets of practical esotericism, because when you understand how to harness the energy that gives life, you become capable of creating any reality you can imagine. This is not exaggeration. It's sacred biology, inner alchemy, pure power waiting to be awakened. What you're about to learn is not just another technique. It's a path of total transformation, where pleasure becomes power, impulse is transmuted into clarity, and the physical is elevated to the spiritual. Welcome to the lost art of sexual mastery. The journey toward your energetic sovereignty begins now. To understand why sexual energy is considered one of the most powerful and sacred forces within the human being, we must dive into the fabric of ancient civilizations, where sages did not separate body from mind, nor the physical from the spiritual. In these cultures, the management of sexual energy was seen as an alchemical art, a sacred science capable of completely transforming the life of anyone who cultivated it with discipline and awareness. In ancient China, Taoist masters observed that sexual essence, known as Jing, was not merely a biological fluid, but the most concentrated form of vital energy. They taught that every drop of semen or sexual fluid contained the essence of life itself, a condensation of energy that, if lost excessively, would weaken the body, damage the organs, and reduce longevity. But if conserved, refined, and internally recirculated, it could nourish the brain, strengthen the spinal cord, rejuvenate the organs, and expand consciousness. Thus were born practices such as semen retention and the microcosmic orbit, in which sexual energy was consciously moved from the sexual center up through the spine to the top of the head, raising the practitioner's vibrational state. The Taoists claimed that true immortality did not lie in the denial of pleasure, but in the transmutation of desire into vitality, clarity, and longevity. In Vedic India, Tantra taught similar principles. Through tantric scriptures, it was revealed that sexual energy, known as Shakti, was the most powerful manifestation of cosmic energy. Through techniques like Maithuna, sacred union, and bandhas, energetic locks, practitioners learned to raise sexual energy through the chakras, awakening the Kundalini, the inner serpent of fire which, when ascended, led to enlightenment and union with the divine. But even outside of Asia, traces of this knowledge remain. Medieval alchemists spoke of the union of sulfur and mercury, symbols of the masculine and feminine, principles which, when integrated within the practitioner's energetic body, produced the legendary philosopher's stone, symbol of the total transmutation of being. These alchemists were not merely seeking to transform metals into gold, they were striving to transform themselves, raising their vibration through the integration and sublimation of internal sexual forces. Even in Egypt, the mystery schools taught that the secret to longevity and spiritual expansion lay in the preservation of vital essence. The priests of Isis and Osiris performed rituals in which the energy generated during sexual union was directed toward the higher centers, creating a magnetic field so strong that it enabled connection with celestial realms and the reception of higher knowledge. The common thread among all these cultures is clear. Sexual energy was not seen as something to be denied or repressed, nor merely as a source of pleasure. It was a sacred force, an evolutionary tool, whose unconscious use led to dissipation, fatigue, and power loss, but whose conscious use brought vitality, magnetism, clarity, and spiritual growth. Today, in the modern world, we have forgotten this art. Masturbation, stripped of its sacred character, has become for many an automatic and compulsive act that scatters this precious energy. But ancient teachings are resurfacing to remind us that we can reclaim this wisdom and apply it to our daily lives. Because those who learn to control this force become, quite literally, the alchemists of their own destiny. In the next section, we will explore how this energetic process works in practice and within the bioenergetic field, and how you yourself can begin to cultivate this ancestral power. To understand how conscious management of sexual energy can transform body, mind, and spirit, we must first visualize how this energy flows within us. Imagine your body as an ancient dynamo or energy generator, a subtle machine capable of producing large amounts of vital electricity. In this model, sexual energy is the densest and most potent fuel, but also the most delicate. If it is spent without control, the dynamo overheats, wears down, and eventually loses its capacity to generate force. But if it is managed wisely, this energy can fuel the entire system, enhancing physical, mental, and spiritual capacities. According to Taoist and Tantric teachings, sexual energy is born in the lower centers, specifically in the area of the lower dantian, the lower abdomen or root chakra. This energy, known as Jing in China or Ojas in India, is the primal matter from which the body is built and life is sustained. It's no coincidence that the body invests vast resources in the production of semen and sexual fluids. These contain vitamins, minerals, amino acids, hormones, and enzymes that nourish every system of the organism. When a person masturbates unconsciously and frequently, this energy is lost with each ejaculation or release, resulting in fatigue, lack of concentration, low mood, and even long-term physical weakness. The ancient masters observed this and thus taught the practice of retention and energetic recirculation. In simple terms, it's not about repressing desire, but learning to redirect the energy generated by arousal to other centers of the body. How does it work? Through specific techniques such as perineum contraction, PC muscle engagement, ascending breathing, and conscious visualization. The practitioner learns to move the energy from the genitals up through the spine, the abdomen, the heart, the throat, and finally to the crown of the head. This path is known in Taoism as the microcosmic orbit, and in Tantra as the rising of the Kundalini. The effect is astonishing. Instead of losing energy, the body becomes revitalized. The mind clears, emotions balance, and a sense of fullness arises that transcends physical pleasure. A clear analogy is that of a pressure valve. When sexual energy accumulates in the genitals without direction, pressure builds until it is explosively released, ejaculation. But if, instead of releasing it, we open channels throughout the body, the pressure is distributed, nourishing and energizing every part of our being. This process not only prevents exhaustion, but also increases sensitivity, vitality, and personal magnetism. Moreover, sexual energy is highly electromagnetic. When it is recirculated, it strengthens the auric field, which explains why people who practice these techniques often radiate magnetic presence, natural confidence, and captivating charisma. Their energy is not scattered. It is concentrated, refined, and expanded. Another fascinating aspect is the connection to the mind and creativity. The ancients knew that sexual energy is not merely physical. It is also the foundation of creativity, intuition, and manifestation. When it rises to the higher centers, especially the heart and the pineal gland, it enhances mental clarity, inspiration, and spiritual connection. That is why many creative geniuses and mystics practiced energy sublimation to expand their intellect and abilities. In short, the key is not in denial, but in conscious control and direction. Learning to work with this energy transforms the act of masturbation, often seen as trivial or even sinful, into a practice of internal alchemy, where the body becomes a temple, and every pulse of energy is a step toward the expansion of personal power. In the next section, we will delve even deeper into the nuances and advanced techniques to refine this art, exploring how to reach balance, avoid excesses, and achieve total mastery over this sacred force. So far, we've understood that sexual energy, when conserved and recirculated, not only nourishes the physical body, but also strengthens the mind, expands consciousness, and amplifies our energetic field. But to reach true mastery, it's not enough to merely understand energy flow. One must integrate nuances, advanced techniques, and a philosophy of balance and awareness. The first fundamental nuance is the difference between repression and transmutation. Many, upon hearing about energy retention, fall into the trap of repressing or denying the sexual impulse, which leads to tension, blockages, and over time emotional imbalance. Repression is a forced and rigid containment that blocks the natural flow of energy. Transmutation, on the other hand, is a conscious and fluid process where energy is not denied, but redirected toward higher purposes. This is where the esoteric concept of rising water comes in. Imagine sexual energy as steam in a pressure cooker. If you seal it tightly, repression, it eventually explodes. But if you install a proper valve, transmutation, the steam rises and powers turbines to generate electricity. This is how recirculation works. We move the energy through the body, avoiding accumulation or leaks. For this, Taoist sages taught practices like the inner smile, a technique in which, through soft breathing and visualization, the energy is directed toward vital organs like the heart, liver, or kidneys. This practice not only nourishes the organs, but also transforms sexual energy into elevated emotions, such as gratitude, compassion, or serene joy. Another fundamental aspect is frequency regulation. It's not about never releasing sexual energy, but about finding a personal and conscious balance. Taoists suggested that, depending on age, physical constitution, and health condition, ejaculation frequency should be adjusted. For example, a healthy young man could afford occasional release without harm, while an older adult or advanced practitioner would aim to retain and recirculate more consistently. A guiding principle is post-act vitality. If after masturbation you feel weakened, empty, or mentally foggy, that's a clear sign you've lost too much energy. If instead you feel renewed, calm, and vital, it means you managed to conserve and circulate it properly. The goal is not total abstinence, but refined self-awareness. Intention during practice is also essential. If masturbation is done compulsively or from obsessive fantasies, the energy disperses and fragments. But if it's practiced with mindfulness, deep breathing, visualization of the energy rising, and an inner cultivation intention, the result is entirely different. What was once an empty act becomes a ceremony of self-mastery. An advanced technique involves the contraction of the PC muscle, the same used to interrupt urine flow, which acts as an energy pump. By gently contracting this muscle during arousal without reaching climax, ejaculation is avoided and the energy is pushed upward through the spine, combined with ascending breath and visualization of light rising to the crown of the head. This exercise refines Jing, sexual essence, into Qi, vital energy, and eventually into Shen, spiritual energy. According to Taoist alchemy, it is essential to remember that cultivating sexual energy is not an end in itself, but a means to strengthen the entire energetic system. As it is recirculated and sublimated, the organs grow stronger, the mind becomes clearer, and intuition expands. The practitioner experiences greater creativity, emotional balance, social magnetism, and spiritual connection without the need for external stimuli. An ancient Taoist adage summarizes this path: preserve your essence, refine your breath, expand your spirit. This is the path of the sexual alchemist, one who transforms fleeting desire into eternal power. In the next session, I will share practical and applicable guidance so that you can begin this path of mastery and energetic self-cultivation today. Now that we've explored the fundamental principles of conscious sexual energy management, it's time to bring this wisdom into everyday life in a simple, practical, and profound way. For the true alchemist not only knows the laws of the universe, he applies them with every breath, in every action, and in every thought. Below are 4 essential practices, tested over millennia in esoteric traditions, that will help you begin or refine your conscious cultivation of sexual energy. First, breathe. Don't rush. When arousal arises, whether naturally or during self-exploration, don't race toward climax. Breathe deeply and slowly. Inhale through your nose, visualizing the energy rising from the base of your spine to your abdomen or heart. Exhale through your mouth, releasing tension. This breathing not only calms you, but redistributes sexual energy throughout the body, preventing it from accumulating in the genitals. Breath is your greatest ally for transforming pleasure into vitality. Second, contract the root muscle. Consciously activate the pubococcygeus PC muscle, the same one used to stop urination. Perform gentle, sustained contractions during moments of arousal, without excessive tension. This action pushes energy upward, aiding recirculation and preventing unnecessary loss. Practicing this daily, even outside sexual context, strengthens your energetic foundation. Third, clear intention and elevated visualization. Before any practice, plant a high intention: health, clarity, creativity, or spiritual expansion. During arousal, visualize a golden or white light rising up your spine to your heart or crown. This visualization guides the energy to the higher centers, refining its vibration and amplifying its effects in your daily life. Fourth, balance and inner listening. Don't obsess over absolute retention, nor impose rigid rules. Listen to your body. If you feel excessive tension or discomfort, allow a conscious release without guilt, without compulsion. The key lies in finding your own rhythm, always ensuring you feel energized rather than drained. Quality over quantity. A single conscious practice is worth more than any number. By applying these 4 keys with patience and consistency, you will begin to notice subtle yet profound changes: more physical energy, mental clarity, emotional stability, personal magnetism, and a serene presence that infuses all your actions. Well-channeled sexual energy manifests in every area of life, not just the intimate. Remember, the body is the alchemist's laboratory, and every conscious act is a distillation of power. Don't seek immediate results. This path is an ascending spiral that will, over time, reveal capacities and perceptions once thought impossible. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered a body of knowledge that for centuries remained hidden. Guarded by sages, alchemists, and masters of ancient mystery schools, we have understood that sexual energy is not merely a physiological impulse or a recreational act. It is a sacred force, a vital current, capable of transforming our body, mind, and soul. We've learned that when this energy is wasted unconsciously and compulsively, the price is high: loss of vitality, mental fatigue, emotional instability, and a life disconnected from its true source of power. But when we cultivate this energy with awareness, intention, and discipline, what emerges is an inner alchemy that rejuvenates, clarifies, and expands every aspect of our existence. Today you stand at a crossroads. You can continue on the common path, where energy escapes like water through your fingers, or you can choose the path of the inner master, the one who does not deny desire but elevates it, the one who does not repress impulse but transmutes it into creative force. Always remember this profound truth: the power you seek outside already resides within you, latent in every cell, every breath, every pulse of your being. What we've explored here is not merely a technique. It is a path of energetic sovereignty, an invitation for you to become the absolute sovereign of your own temple. When you master your sexual energy, you master your mind. When you master your mind, you govern your reality. And when you govern your reality, you become the conscious architect of your destiny. This knowledge is not meant to be admired from afar. It is meant to be lived, embodied, and experienced. And the journey does not end here. This is only the first threshold of a life where your body is a sacred laboratory. Your energy is a refined treasure, and your spirit is a living flame. If this message resonated with you, share this wisdom, expand this energy, and allow others to remember their forgotten power as well. Subscribe to this channel, activate the bell, and like this video, so that together we can continue to explore the teachings that, since time immemorial, have guided seekers of balance, mastery, and transcendent truth. Stay tuned for the next videos, where we will continue unveiling the mysteries of inner alchemy, esoteric techniques, and spiritual expansion. Because this path is infinite, and every step you take inward opens unlimited universes outward. May the strength of your refined energy, the clarity of your mind, and the expansion of your spirit be the torch that lights your path. See you at the next threshold.